victory, serving his God and Father. To Christ be glory, dominion, and power, now and forevermore. To all of the mothers across the world, happy Mother's Day. From me, Jermaine. I can recall some of the very own memories that I cherished about my mother. My mom would always have cooked meals prepared for us. At home, we hardly ate out, but when we did, it was exciting. Not because my mother's food wasn't good, but because of the fact that we got to indulge in some of the junk foods out there, like McDonald's or even pizza or Pizza Hut or et cetera, so forth. I will never forget the amazing gospel songs that my mom would play and sing to. Matter of fact, many of her favorites, like John P. Key, such like Vicki Winans and Marvin Sapp, a lot of those artists became my favorite as well. But most of all, more than anything, what I really appreciated about my mother was her determination to make things happen. Even though she did them by herself, she got the resources to help the people that she needed in order to bless her kids. And I could really admire that, especially with my mother, especially with her being a single mother. But she also reminds me of a tenacious woman in the Bible who was desperate to save her child. Have you ever been desperate for something? And I'm not just talking about anything. I'm really talking about desperation. There is a woman in the Bible who struggled with this kind of desperation. The header in the gospel passage would call this the Canaanite woman's faith. But if it were up to me, I would name it a desperate woman's plea, a desperate mother's plea. Now let us pause and dissect this for a moment. Canaanite is an ethnic term. They are included in a list of nations to be exterminated and later described as a group which Israel annihilates. Now let's look at this term woman. This individual here is defined by her gender, to which she is a woman. And then we have the term faith. And faith, defined according to Scripture, is the substance of what is hoped for and the evidence of things that are not seen. The woman is shouting in the passage. If you will, go with me to Matthew chapter 15, verse 21 through 28. And the woman is shouting here, if you look at verse 21, Jesus left the place and went away a distance of Tyre and Sidon. Just then a Canaanite woman from the region came out and started shouting, "Have mercy on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon." So let's stop there. This woman, she is shouting. According to the Jewish text, it reads, the Orthodox Jewish Bible, it reads, "Have mercy on me, Adonai, Son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon." This woman is not simply talking at Yeshua. The woman is shouting at Yeshua. Could you imagine? "Yeshua, have mercy upon me, Son of God. My daughter is tormented by demons." This is an urgent type of situation. Just imagine this scene here for a minute. And I'm sure there are many who are competing for Yeshua's attention. And on top of that, I'm sure that he is surrounded by his disciples. But it appears that based upon who this woman is, this Canaanite, remember the Canaanites were an enemy hostile to Israel, and they were to be annihilated. And for that, she doesn't get the luxury of having the response that she needs. She outright gets ignored. You see, Yeshua had already made up his mind about this Canaanite woman, like a homeless person asking for spare change. We know what it's like to be followed by a homeless person, a peddler asking for change, but yet getting nothing. And this woman appears to be getting nothing initially. Now, mind you, the tenacity and the determination of this woman, the scripture says that she kept following them. The woman is relentless. The woman is desperate. She keeps shouting. And what is she shouting? This woman calls him Adonai. You see, she knows who he is, the son of David, meaning the Messiah. This outsider, this Canaanite, this woman knows exactly who she's dealing with and who is exactly she's shouting at and who exactly she is following. And contrast many of his own, very own people, right? These Israelites, people like the Pharisees, people like the Sadducees, people like the scribes, and even people from his own hometown, Capernaum, right? Rejected him for who he is. But she knows, this woman knows, this outsider, this enemy knows exactly who he is and summons him by name. Yet all of this, Yeshua tunes her out, right? Although Yeshua has tuned her out and has written her off, the disciples can't seem to ignore her as Yeshua is. This is paying attention to detail and looking at the scripture. We read it. But it's not like these disciples have mercy upon her either. It appears that they are very much so annoyed. In the complete Jewish Bible, she is described as pestering and ask Yeshua. And so the disciples ask Yeshua to send her away. And it now appears that he can no longer ignore this situation because his disciples are also annoyed. He finally addresses her, and you would think that this response would be the response that would help her. But it is not the kind of response that any of you or even this woman would expect. It's downright shocking. Read there. It says, it's not right. This is Yeshua, right? It's not right to take the children's food and toss it to their pet dogs. Oh my gosh. It appears that Yeshua has not only downright annoyed this, is not only downright annoyed, but it's a bit shady as well. So let me understand this right. This woman asked for help. This mother asked for help addressing him with his divinely heavenly titles, but only gets insulted. And based on Yeshua's response, we learn that she is not considered family, but far worse, she is considered a dog. So much for a response. It might have even been better for him to not even address her at all, which is what he really intended to do. Could you imagine getting help from a pastor, but hearing that not only are you not a part of this flock, but you are a dog? I am sure you would have had some different kinds of words. What would you have said? What would you have done after hearing someone insult you like that? Would you have done the same thing like this Canaanite woman here? But no, this Canaanite woman, she had different words. She was desperate, but at the same time quite smart. Will she let some insults and some disciples stop her from getting the needs that she needs for her child? No, this is Mother's Day. This is her day. And what coincidence that this lesson is all about a mother helping a child, which is the very essence of what Mother's Day is. How many of you know that your mother would do absolutely anything to see you succeed, to see you do well, to see you fed well and healthy. Well, this is the kind of mother that we have here today in our text. You know, a mother would sell her body into slavery just to save her child. A mother will give her very last dime to a child that stands in need. A mother will tend to her sick child and she'll stay home from work. A mother will get another job to make ends meet. Wouldn't a mother never abandon her child, or even, and she would even raise him or her, that child, by herself, wouldn't she? A mother will shout and scream even at God, even if it meant that her life, the life of her child, would be saved, even if she has to be insulted or even called a bitch. And we know what bitch is. It's a female dog. So your response would have been the same as this mother's response. You would have taken the insults, and therefore your response would have been to the very Son of God, the Messiah. Even the dogs eat the leftovers that fall from their master's table. What a brilliant response. This response indicates and proves that this was all about her daughter, not her emotions, not about her insult, not about even her ethnicity. No, this was about a need far greater than any insult could ever be heaped on. She will become a dog. This mother, yes, will become a dog, as she said in her statement, to get the help that she needs. That statement in itself changed Yeshua's mind. It changed our Savior's mind to assisting this woman because of this woman's relentless faith, even when getting annoyed, even when getting insulted and turned away. So what will be your response, right? I believe this story is accounted for in the gospel because it shows the determination and demonstration of relentless, desperate kind of faith. I'm sure this woman was at her wit's end about this particular situation. Her daughter being possessed by a demon. Could you only imagine your son or daughter being possessed by a demon and the actions that they're taking? You've all, I'm sure, seen The Exorcist. I'm sure that The Exorcist has nothing in comparison. That movie, with all of its action and gore in Hollywood, I'm sure that it had nothing on this woman's daughter and what she was suffering. I'm sure that this woman, this Canaanite woman, this mother, that she tried everything in her possible know-how or go to try to cure her daughter, seeking counsel from friends, reading books, even from prayers to fasting, even visiting and asking the priest, taking on extra jobs to get the money that she needs for an exorcism. But I'm sure she tried everything. As you know, your mother would have tried, or our mother would have tried anything. Now she sees and knows God. She sees him. She knows who this man is. She knows that he is summoned. He is God, and she summons him with that name, even pointing and shouting. And there are many of you today here with desperate needs. You don't have to be a woman or even a mother to know exactly what this woman is going through. This ain't just a Canaanite or a woman. No, this is about your need, about your desperation. This is about your plea. And I know deep down inside, within you and outside of you, that you've continued to pray, that you've continued to fast, that you continue to attend church, that you've asked your pastors, you've asked your friends, and you've asked even strangers for help. But what would be your desperate plea on today? You see, this woman from this story was an outsider, right? She was a Canaanite woman, hostile to the people, an enemy to the people of Israel. You couldn't ask for more. Do you know what it means to be an enemy and a hostile to be considered an outsider. Many of you all do. But she didn't allow her ethnicity, her affiliation with Israel as an enemy to stop her from getting the need that she needed. She is you. No matter if you're a man or a woman, what will be your response? What will be the actions of your faith in desperate times such as these were? 80,000 people have died from the coronavirus, where the unemployment now is at levels of great depression, where people have lost and cannot afford to pay for their rent, mortgage, etc., so forth, because of being furloughed and unemployed. What will be your desperate plea? What will be the moment of your faith that says even the dogs can eat the leftovers that fall from their master's table? You see, this woman from this story, she was remarkable. She was a remarkable mother, and she did everything possible, even to the point of a miracle, to get that need for her daughter met through Jesus Christ. God is waiting on your desperate plea and seeing what you will do, what actions you will take. What will be your response? Will it be that response of that woman? Will you become the dog that eats at the master's table? I don't care if you have to shout his name every day and all day. Yeshua, Son of David, Son of God, have mercy on me. Yes, I am recommending that you keep asking, that you keep pressing, that you keep praying, you keep pestering, keep fasting, keep calling out his name, keep serving, keep shouting, keep annoying, because like this mother, she got the very need met. Will you give up? Will you give up during these particular dark times? Or will you show that you have a relentless, pestering, and desperate kind of faith? Now to him who is able to keep us from falling, to present us faultless before his glorious presence with exceeding great joy, to the only wise God be glory, dominion, and power, now and forever.